Hey everybody, Gary McGowan here, and I have got a great video for you today. We're going to do something a little bit different, but kind of the same. We are going to put together the real estate stats for the month of September 2021, 416 versus the 905. So let's roll the intro and see what we got. Well, as I said, we are going to look at the stats, the 416 versus the 905, and see what's what. See how it compared to last year. See how we're comparing to, or what we forecast for the next few months as we end off 2021. There's a lot of interesting things happening, and there's always a story in the numbers. So we're going to dive into that in just a second. And as always, I'm with Keller Williams Realty Centers, and you can always connect with us at YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed to our channel so we can get you that information and so you don't miss a video. So anyways, with that out of the way, let's see what these stats are all about. So I'm going to share my screen here. Yep, there we go, all ready to go. And as I said, 416 versus the 905. And there's some really interesting, I don't want to say shift that's happening in the market. However, there's some interesting information coming out of the market numbers for the month of September, and we're going to dive into them to see what it's all about. So we're going to cover condos, detached, and townhouses. It's always a good, it's always great to get a good grasp on what's happening in each of those segments, especially in the 905 area. If you are looking to buy one of those types of homes, well, here's your knowledge right now. So first up, let's look at the new listings for the month of September versus this year and last year, and also the 416 against what the 905 has to offer. So the light blue is the numbers for last year. So you can see the number of total new listings. Over the last month of September, we've had 20,000 new listings in the month of September for 2020. Now for this year, that number was drastically down. You can see that down about, we'll call it 7,000 homes that came up for sale. That is a big difference year over year. However, let's think back of where we were at last year. We came out of a summer of 2020 still with a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of people kind of put their plans on hold. So we saw the biggest month of September ever for new listings in 2020. Now, that's going to change and skew the numbers a little bit for 2021 when we have numbers like this. However, those are our numbers for this year, 13,483, and you can see where they were versus 416 area code and the 905. Now, let's see what sold. So here's our breakdown again of last year, and we had 3,500 homes or units sell in the 416 and 7,500 almost homes sell in the 905 for last year. Now, moving forward into this year, you can see that number is down slightly. However, I'm going to share with you some information at the very end of this video, and your mind's going to be blown. And it's something we've talked about in the past. We've had just over 9,000 units sell in the month of September for all property types, and of course, the 416 versus the 905. And you can see there, it's not quite double. It's about 2,000 more, and a little over 2,000. But it's interesting to see how many more homes sell in the 905 than they do in the 416. We always think the 416 is the capital of the Ontario real estate market. We can see, well, regions around it, of course, Mississauga or Peel, I should say, York region are the two of the biggest regions in Canada, and they have more people in those regions than a lot of cities do. So there we go. Okay, so average price. Now, 416, 905, let's look at this. Last year, we saw the 416 over $1 million in the month of September, and the 905 was slightly down by 70,000 below $1 million. And let's see what that takes us to this year. No surprise, right? Almost 1.1 in the 416, and in the 905, we're $1,163,000, almost $64,000. That's your average price across all property types in the 905, which takes us to a total average price is 1.136. what am I trying to say? When we see the quantity of units go up for sale, that's got to do something to the pricing, right? And we're going to see that trend carry on here. In fact, before we do that, look at these numbers. The year-over-year numbers is up 6.5% in the 416 and almost 25% in the 905 with a total average of 18.3. So up 25% year over year. And in fact, one of the last slides that I'm going to share with you breaks it down by region. And we're going to look at something that's really, really interesting by region. Okay, now 416 versus the 905 for this year. We're going to look at the numbers for this year, and let's look at the condos. So the light blue is the 416. The next shade of blue is the 905. And of course, we have the total there. So you can see the condos, towns, and detaches. We have more homes selling, of course, or condos selling in the downtown core than we do anywhere else. And you can see the detached homes there are up almost at to 4,000 units, 3,900 there, which is really impressive. So let's look at the year over year change. And we've got 13% increase on the condos, down 17% and down 29, almost 30% for the detached. Remember, last September was the unicorn month of the year that you might say for 2020. So that's the year over year changes, the percentages there. But let's focus on the condos. We knew that this was going to happen in the condo market, right? We're going to see some major changes or increased volume in the condo market, I believe, over the next number of months. We're going to see more sales down there. We're seeing many more listings in that condo market in the 416 area. And we're going to continue to see that because prices keep increasing, which means those homes that were attainable, now people have to look at different options, and condos is definitely a different option for a lot of people. Okay, moving on. Let's look at the average price across September for all property types. And again, we're going to look at the 416 versus the 905. So in the condos, we're looking at 744,000, and townhouses 930, and 1.8 almost in the detached homes. Now the 905 area, our condos are at 634 to be expected. Townhouses is almost dead even. And if you look at the detached homes, they're 1.7 to 1.4. So some pretty incredible numbers there. And of course, as that averages out, you can see those numbers there on screen. But let's look again at that year over year change, because this is where it starts to really tell the story. And we got a plus 11.6% increase in the condos. We're going to continue to see that growth there for sure. In fact, I think that's going to get even faster. Townhouses, you can see a 21% increase. And of course, detached, to no one's surprise, is 28.9, pushing 29% increase year over year from last September. Okay, so the next slide I have here has a lot of information on it, but I'm going to highlight two pieces for you because this next slide has the information on it from the different regions, and I want us to focus in on something that's really, really interesting to me. So this is a snapshot right out of the latest Toronto real estate news. And if you can see here, again, this has lots of info, but this is the year over year increase of what the value was last September. And there's two regions here that just jump right off the top for me. And that's Durham and South Simcoe County, up both of them up over 32%. And why do you think that is? I'm curious to know why you think that is. Put that in the comments down below, because here, I'll tell you what I think, but doesn't mean I'm always correct, but this is just what I think. And I've seen this in different areas over the last 6 or 7 years. Areas like this, Durham and South Simcoe, for instance, they were priced or have been priced much lower than the surrounding areas in the 905 and definitely in the 416. So we had a lot of buyers look at that and say, I can attain that price. I can purchase that price. that's where I'm going to move to. So we've had more buyers than ever move to these areas, which is going to increase that pricing dramatically. So even if you were to put this into perspective, let's say you owned a home in Scarborough or one of that 416 area code, or even the 905, and you move out to these areas, you're selling your home for a far greater value than you've ever had before. And you can move to these areas and pay much more than that area typically has demanded in the past, because you have the equity to move. And that movement of equities happened a lot in these two areas, Durham and South Simcoe, up 30 some odd percent. I'm happy because I've got properties in that South Simcoe area, some of my investment properties there. So I love seeing that increase. We call it the green belt jump. People are jumping over that green belt that kind of hovers over the northern part of the GTA, because they're moving into areas that they can afford, that are attainable, and they're moving tremendous amounts of equity. So I thought that was really, really interesting. Now, moving on, I got another slide to share with you before we kind of wrap up today's video. And this next one is really, really important as we watch what's going on, the 416 versus the 905. So you can see the numbers here. And these, what I want to focus on here, not necessarily is the average price, but the number of sales. Because all we hear about, and we've talked about it on other videos, is there's not enough homes for sale. I have buyers that I'm working with. If you're a realtor and you're being slammed against multiple offers almost every week, right? And every listing that comes up is going to multiple offers, and the consumers and the buyers are saying there's just not enough product, not enough inventory. And if you look on this page here, the number of sales that we've had this year in that first column is $97,000 to the end of September. Sorry, 97,012 homes that have sold to the end of September. That is an incredible number, because if you look at this time last year, it was at only 68,000. And in fact, if you look at our total number for last year, for 2020, it was 95,000. So we've already eclipsed what we have sold last year. And no one's even talking about that. We've already sold more homes than we did last year on the Toronto Real Estate Board. And in fact, our number one year in 2016 was 113,041 homes sold. Now I ask you this, do you think we're going to eclipse that? We've got 3 months to go, October, November, and December, and we're selling at a rapid rate right now. And you can see that we'll probably have the best year that we've ever had for units sold on the Toronto Real Estate Board. Yet the number one complaint is there's not enough homes for sale on the Toronto Real Estate Board. So what does that tell us? That tells us a few things, that there's many, many more buyers than we ever dreamed of. Many people are looking to purchase homes that they've not been able to purchase before. And not only that, many, many, many people have the money and the wherewithal, the financial means to purchase these homes. So that tells us one more thing, that the area, the Toronto, Greater Toronto area, the GTA, the 905, the 416, and all the other area codes that I'm forgetting about, like 647 and everything else, there's a tremendous amount of wealth there, right? And people are willing to purchase homes. There's just not enough of them. So all the things that we've just voted on as in a Canadian election and all these other things, and as we look into the Canadian or the municipal election for next year, we got to be asking these questions. How are more homes going to be able to come to market? Because there's just not enough resale homes that are selling every year, especially in a year right now where we're about to eclipse the biggest number of homes that we've ever sold on the Toronto Real Estate Board. So we need to see more homes come to inventory. So this video again was the 905 or the 416 versus the 905. Thought I'd do something a little bit different. We're seeing that rapid growth, obviously in the 905 and those surrounding areas. Look for opportunities. If you want some more detailed information on a specific area, send me a message. I'm happy to do so. If you're looking to purchase real estate in anywhere in North America, reach out to me. I've been sending out referrals to Montreal and Edmonton and all over Ontario. So I've been connecting buyers and sellers with realtors that have that understanding. Buyers and sellers want to talk to me because I've already gone and had the conversation with realtors that I know, like, and trust. So do reach out to me. Happy to answer any real estate related questions. Hope you got a lot out of this video. Look to see everybody on the next video, and bye for now.